Hi guys, it's SJ. This is Baby Name Monday, home of all things for baby name inspiration on YouTube. I've been here for about 5 years doing this. So you can find tons of baby name inspiration down in the comments below. I also have a podcast. I'm a BBC correspondent for all things baby names. So I hear a lot of names, and this week I'm going to be doing the toughest thing that I've ever challenged myself to do. I don't mind coming up with names, but taking names off the table, I struggle with a lot because I genuinely think there's a right name for everybody, but I've been sent by very many mums and dads to be what they think is a polarising name for me to veto or list. So veto meaning no, don't use it, or list as in yeah, pop it on your name list, it's all good to go. And these are like vintage names that they are not sure if people love or hate. So do it with me. Just remember, these is my personal views, but I'm also going to go by what I know of trends and what I think is about to come back as well. So you're going to hear a ton of vintage names. No one be offended. Right, first up is the name Clive. I'm not sure we're quite ready for Clive. I do think Clive is going to come back. There was a Clive at my school who was the most popular boy at school. So I'm a little bit kind of like, yeah, I can see Clive being like a Clive, good looking Clive. For the name though, I'm not quite yet into it. I prefer Clyde, like the River Clyde. Not so sure about Clive just yet. Galileo. I think biblical names is a massive trend in biblical book names. Galileo, I'm not into it. I understand it. Leo as a cool nickname, maybe. Galileo, it's got very Bohemian Rhapsody vibes, doesn't it? I don't think you'd get away with not everyone singing that to you. Considering people who are called Annie get asked, Annie, are you okay a lot? I think Galileo will struggle. Adelaide. Yes, I like Adelaide. Adeline is really popular lately. Adelaide, place name. So it probably depends where in the world you are from, how much you know about the place Adelaide, but I think it is really lovely, and I'm quite into geography, place, travel names, as you can see from a few of my lists lately have been around that. Marjorie, like in Game of Thrones, yes, I am up for Marjorie. I really like it. I'm into those types of vintage names that are kind of on the cusp of coming back, and I think that where Margot has gone, Marjorie is hot on its heels. Doris asks Rosie Bumblebee. Yes, I'm all up for Doris. Doris Day, I think that is perfect vintage. Come back ready. We are ready for Doris 100%. Do you agree? I think names ending in S is not dissimilar to Rose. Is it? So similar. It's got an R and an S and an O in it. But I am here for Doris. Jess in the US says Gretchen. Yes, definitely Gretchen. Those stronger girl names are really the vibe at the moment. Gretchen, we're quite liking these strong powerful names for girls, and I think Gretchen really fits within that. And we're also really liking those Germanic sounds. I really want to collab with the German creators to do my German baby name list. So if you know any German YouTubers who are like pregnant or mums who you think would be up for it, let them know to contact me, or let me know to contact them. Rosemary, yes, I really like it. So you've spelled it the Marie M-A-R-I-E oh my god, at the end, and I prefer it with a Y. I prefer it because it's a little bit more like the rosemary spice herb, which I really like about it, whereas with the IE it takes me a little bit off from that, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous name, and I would go with it. I would just use the Y. Maud, yes, I would list Maud. I really like Maud. I think it is a bit of a cat name, potentially. I quite wanted to call my cat Maud, but she just wasn't a Maud. Yes, but maybe not just yet. I probably wouldn't list it for my baby girl, which is a bit mean to say yes, but not for my baby girl. I'd probably want something a tiny edgier, a bit prettier, but I think it's maybe, if somebody called their baby Maud, I'd be all over it, because that's the kind of hypocrite I am. Gilbert. Is this somebody related to me? Probably, because their next one is Fanny. Who is this? I just recognise the name. No. I don't know if we're related. Right, Gilbert, I would say I'm down for Gilbert for sure. Bertie being a really popular nickname, I really like Gilbert, and I actually don't mind Gil. I think it's quite trendy as like an alternative to Will. And there was a Gil in something I was watching lately and I was like, yeah, I don't mind Gil. A bit fishy, but I've got a boy called Finn, so what can I say about that? But Fanny, I don't think so. I don't think it would ever come back. I just think it's just tainted for life by the association. Rex, for sure. Rex has been around for quite a while. It's definitely got the T-Rex Dinosaurus vibes. I can't talk because I'm so nervous about offending someone. But yes, I do like the name Rex a lot. I think I had like Rocco on my list. That was kind of as edgy as I was trying to get Henrik to go. I've got a very traditional name, my husband, so there was no way he was going for it. Lana. I can see Lana making its way back as well. I think with that open R sound is really, really pretty. Ethel. 2 people have asked me about Ethel actually, and I really think we are ready for Ethel. I think it's really far down, and I'm always surprised how far down Enid is as well. We actually have my cousin married a girl named Ethel, and she pronounces it Ethel, which is really, really pretty, and it made me really, really like the name again. So I've really got into it and think it's got on the right side of vintage pretty for me to list it. Judith or Judy. Where do I stand on Judith or Judy? I'm more into Judy because with Jude obviously being around for ages, I was saying the other day that Finn, my son, could have been a good Jude, and Judy I do get because I like Junie. Judith, yeah, I actually really like it. The more I've said it, the more I really like it, Abby. Judith, yeah, it's got Edith vibes but Jude vibes, and that's the name, Judith. But no, yes, new one for me, and I'm on it. I'm already onto it. Ernest, one of my favourites, definitely a vintage name that is so underused. Ernie is so adorable. I love the fact that it's a virtue name as well. Betty's quite back at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's great. I think that any of the Elizabeth nicknames are really enduringly popular, and Betty's a really good one. My favourite would be Bess, potentially, more than Betty personally, but I do really like Betty. Queenie, that's an interesting one. Yes, I do really like Queenie. I think it is so trendy and super cool. I think it's more nickname though. I'd probably go with something else like Quinn and call them Queenie, something like that, because I just think it's such a title to hold. But that is a massive vibe at the moment. That's a massive trend, isn't it? Like Saint, Psalm, and all those sort of Roman, even Augustus, those were all leader names. Those were titles originally. Baron, and all of those types of names. So why not Queenie? Let's bring it up for the girls. Another Gilbert, we've already talked about that, and another Clive, so that's interesting. Humphrey. No, I don't know if I'm ready for Humphrey. I'm just thinking of humps. Francine, yes, that is beautiful, Francine. How pretty and elegant. Imogen, for sure. I think Imogen's been around for a long time. It means in her image. So it's a very beautiful name and very unusual as well. Laverne, that's a really beautiful name, which is an L-A then capital V, Laverne. Yeah, I can get into Laverne, can you? I didn't think of that as a vintage name. And actually recently on the podcast, Baby Name Envy, which is a consultancy with real life dilemmas, have a listen. The new series is out now and I've done a terrible job of promoting it. So please go and give it a listen. I'll link it below, and it's an absolutely brilliant series with a new producer and everything. We talked about the name Vernon on that as well, which I was quite getting into. But Laverne, yeah, it sounds surname as first name, but that is fashionable. Deirdre, I love at the moment Deirdre. I had it on a list recently. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. Margaret, for sure, really into Margaret at the moment, and predict it will come right back up with the royals and everything like that. Beauregard is an interesting name. Never heard it. Great long version for Beau. Isn't it? Beauregard, very fancy. I mean, I don't know what type of kid could pull it off necessarily, but Beauregard I'm really into. Desmond, yeah, why not Des? I was talking about Del the other day, like Del Boy, and I think Del for a boy is quite cute. Could we get there with Des again? Desi, that sounds cool though, doesn't it? Desi, Desmond, why not? I could get into Desmond for sure. Abner for boys, definitely. Abe, a brilliant nickname. I think this is a religious biblical name, but correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't done research on these names. Abner, yep. I really like that. Very like a cool alternative to a Noah potentially, or a brother for a Noah and Abner. Very trendy. I would definitely be complimenting that name. Is that the full name of Abs from 5? Blanche, a name I absolutely love. It should definitely come back. I love Blanche, I love Bianca. All those B names are getting the 70s retro feelings for me, and I've been giving a lot of advice on those names lately when people are coming for a kind of vintage name, so I'm all down for that. Agatha, I think it will come back soon. I think that Agnes has sort of been wallowing a little bit, so I'm surprised that Agnes hasn't come higher up. Whenever I hear it, somebody got an Agnes, it's one of the most beautiful names that I actually really love. Agatha, and then in Scandi they say Agatha. It's a little bit harder because they don't say the H as much. That's kind of like, I think I thought about it and that's how I knew that was Agatha. But as I said with them earlier on, with the G sound, they are coming back into fash. Bernard, nicknamed Barney, yes. I really have a soft spot for Bernard. I think it is absolutely adorable. It's like people loved the nickname Bear. It could definitely be called Bear or Bernie. You said Bernie. Really cute. I think it is really up there as a top pick for a vintage name about to come back. Fairfax, that's a really interesting one, and that's really, some of the older names are very much more surname as first name, and I could get behind Fairfax a lot. Is Fairfax a place? I'm trying to think. Fairfax. It's a bit Filofax. I'm not thinking of Filofax. Fairfax, thinking of a place. But I like it. I think it would get a lot of potential questions. It sounds a bit like Fairfax and things like that. So you have to think about it a little bit. But I can get on board with it. I think you just have to be a brave person to use that name, as in you'd have to explain it a lot and set your kid up for a life of explaining it. But I think some kids can really handle a bold name. Elle says Wilbur. Wilbur was a name that I was really keen on using, had my third been a boy, but I had a daughter, and I was really into Wilbur. My sister, who's my co-host in the podcast now, she was just like, no, you're too pregnant, don't make that drastic decision now to suddenly call your baby Wilbur. It was quite a last minute one, but I stand by my choice. I think it is absolutely adorable. Chester with the nickname Chet. I do like that. I do like Chester a lot. I think that it's very wearable. Chet, yeah, why not? But I prefer Chester as the whole long thing. Sean. Sean is already vintage, isn't it? It's about S-E-A-N. That was always a difficult thing with Sean, wasn't it? How it was spelt. But yeah, imagine that coming back already, Sean. I always think of it as quite a good looking name, Sean. And there were quite a few guys I knew at school called Sean. It must have been a sort of popular name, but yeah, I'm into that. Julie says Lloyd. That's an interesting one, isn't it? I don't know why I said Lloyd, because it's got 2 L's. I think that any L name is always lovely to say, and it's very soft and gentle, and with a Y as well, but it's one of those names that people do know, despite its complicated spelling. L-L-O-Y-D. It's like difficult, isn't it? But yeah, I could see that coming back. It's a 1 syllable, which makes it strong. We like L names for our boys. It's got the strong D, and the Y makes it interesting. Lloyd, yes. It's just hard to see it on a baby still yet, so I'm not 100% sure it's going to have it's having its time again. But I can see the merit of the name all by itself. Percival, so cute. I was a big fan of Percy. I think Percival was a gorgeous long name for Percy. So yes, absolutely ripe and ready. Trudy, yes. I love the name Trudy. She has said I better keep her secret in case she doesn't want to know that it's her choice for baby number girl due in October. So luckily I like it, but I do love the name Trudy. Nickname True. Absolutely love it. I did have this on my list as well. I thought it was just really cool. So I always wanted to be called Truly Scrumptious when I was little, from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And then I was like, oh, Truly, oh, Trudy. And I just sort of couldn't get it over the line, but I am all for it. I had so many, so I'll finish up on a few boy names. Eugene. Hey, Eugene. Are we ready for Eugene? I think we are. I really think we are. I think it's very, very hipster right now, but it would put a smile on people's faces, I think. Barney, yes, I know a few little Barneys. It's short for Barnaby. My son's middle name is Barnaby. So Barney's a little bit more difficult to pull off. It's more of a sort of nickname, because that's why I didn't use Barnaby as a first name, because I already had Fred, and I didn't want Fred and Barney, like the Flintstones. So I had Barnaby in the middle instead. So I do like it. I've been into it for a little while. My last one I'll do, because it's from Lucy in Brighton, is the name Opal. Opal was, I'll repeat this actually, because we did a few years ago, the top names from our community when they put out the popularity list, and we did our own popularity list, and Opal was super duper duper high up. It is still low down, but I'm seeing it a lot in middle spots for babies at the moment, and it normally then leaps to the first spot. So yes, Opal, 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 go for it. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you vetoed and listed along with me. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please do like and share with a friend. It really helps me out to get the channel out there, and comment below any extra names you would add to this list, and I will get involved and veto or list them below as well. And veto and list on each other's. It's the nicest community. And check out the podcast, which is up now, and I will see you very, very soon on my next video. Bye guys.